In this video we're going to solve equations. This is one of the most important skills in algebra, and it's the one that you're likely to use the most often. Most of these are linear equations. They require one or two, maybe three steps to solve, and we're starting off with some one-step problems. P plus 5 equals 18. So in the actual module I've done this two ways. I've got to be ideal here, and I'll show you the balance method, where what we do to one side we do to the other. Okay, P has had 5 added to it, so we ask ourselves what's the opposite of adding 5, and it's subtracting 5, and we need to do that to both sides so that we keep the balance balanced. Now once we've got an answer, you can check your answer. You can take your answer and substitute it back in for P and say, does 13 plus 5 equal 18? And yes, it does. Okay, with the next one, it's D take 11. So the opposite of taking 11 is adding 11. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. So that means that D, because the take 11 plus 11 makes them disappear, equals 42. Take your answer, go back to the question, does 42 take 11 equal 31? The answer is yes. Now with the next one, it's really a two-step equation, but a fairly easy one. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm going to times both sides by 4. Why did I do that? Because x here was times by 3 and then it was divided by 4. So to get rid of the 4 off this side, I need to do the opposite of dividing by 4, which is timesing by 4. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. So here the 4's cancel out and we get 3x is equal to negative 4 7's 28. Now, to get x on its own, x has been multiplied by 3. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3, which I'll show this way. So x is equal to negative 28 on 3, or we can write that as negative 9 1/3. Just a few more. Now this 2a is a little bit trickier because we've got a negative coefficient in front of the d. And how you deal with that, there's a couple of ways to deal with that. I'm going to show you one way, but I'll probably show you a second as well. So if you look at what's happened here, d has been times by minus 2, and then 3 was added. So we need to actually subtract 3 from both sides. Now that's, a lot of people find that difficult because it looks like 3 was subtracted, but no, the 2d was subtracted. The 3 was actually added. You can think of the sign in front of the 3 being like a plus. So that means that minus 2d is equal to 6. Then what you can do is say, okay, what's the opposite of timesing by negative 2? Well, it's dividing by negative 2. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. So that means that d equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. Now you can substitute and see if that works. Minus 2 times minus 3 is positive 6, plus 3 does give 9. The other way to deal with this is to say that if you, I'll just get you started, is to take the 2d term over to the other side. So basically we're going to go 3, take away 2d, add 2d is equal to 9 plus 2d. So that way you end up with 3 equals 9 plus 2d, and that gets rid of the negative sign in front of the 2d. But and this will just keep going. Similar methods. Alright, this one's a little bit harder from the point of view. This one causes quite a bit of difficulty because The pronumeral that we're trying to make the subject, A, is in the denominator, and that's not good news. We really prefer it in a numerator. So what I'm suggesting that we do here is we say, well, 4 has been divided by 3 take away 2a, that's a term. It's actually an expression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 minus 2a, but I'll put it in brackets. So that means we get 4 is equal to minus 5 outside of 3 minus 2a. So 4 is equal to, I'm going to expand these brackets out, minus 15, minus times minus is plus 10a. So a's been times by 10, and then the 15 was taken away. So what we're going to do is add 15 to both sides. I'm running out of space, so I'm sort of leaving out a line of working here. So 19 is equal to 10a, because remember they're opposite operations. And now we can say what a's been times by 10, what's the opposite of timesing by 10? And it's dividing by 10. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. So that means that a is equal to 19 divided by 10, which is 1. Now the last question's a little bit trickier because this time we have to expand the brackets and we're going to have a negative coefficient in front of the x to deal with. So I'm limited with space here, so I'm going to work above. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times minus 2x is minus 6x, and that equals 10. Now because 15 was added to the left hand side, I'm going to do the opposite and I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. So that's negative 6x is equal to 10 take away 15 is negative 5. So that means that I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. A negative divided by a negative makes a positive. 5 divided by 6 is 5/6.